Hello and welcome to the Story Pilgrim, Season 2, Episode 12, Sad Hill Distant Echoes. Now, it's almost been 2 months since the last episode. Season 2 was built around a simple idea. I'd walk with people in places that meant something to them. Now, that idea has not disappeared, but arranging those walks has proved more complicated than imagining them. And while I waited for the right person, the right place, and a space in both our diaries, the podcast has gone quiet. The strange thing is, I did not. I've carried on travelling, walking and recording, and over the past few weeks I found myself in 2 places, thousands of miles apart, which seemed to be speaking to one another. The first was Sad Hill Cemetery in northern Spain. I walked there for a podcast last year, but this time I'd returned to perform pieces that I'd written for the 60th anniversary of The Good, the Bad and the Ugly. It was the first time I performed my own writing in this way in a place already crowded with stories, memories and ghosts from a film that was made long before I arrived. So this episode is not quite the Season 2 walk I had planned. It is something I have found while waiting. And perhaps that is where many pilgrimages begin. I am back in Sad Hill Cemetery, Santo Domingo de Silos. I have spent the last 4 days performing pieces that I have written as an accompaniment to the 60th anniversary of the release of The Good, the Bad and the Ugly. I wrote 2 10-minute pieces and a 30-minute piece and planned on doing it around the celebrations that they put. They were based in Salas de los Infantes, where they had a lot of conferences. They had guest speakers from involved with the film. They had the director of the documentary that put them on the map for the 50th anniversary, Guillermo Oliveira, and it was really interesting. Kevin, my friend from Chicago, Robin from Chicago, Roger from Southampton came out and very graciously helped me with the logistics and getting people in. I think I did 13 performances altogether, and it was really interesting just to figure out that the whole process, I've never done that, writing something, performing something, doing it all. I mean, with the help of Kevin, he had ideas and stuff. You can hear they're trying to back a van right up to the actual centre of the cemetery, and it's really interesting what they do, the Spanish way of working. But yeah, it was, I think we did 13 performances, performed to probably somewhere in the region of about 75 people, and it went really well. I was really lucky, in difficulty being, obviously, I would say 95% of the people attending the conference were Spanish and they only speak Spanish, and obviously I don't speak Spanish. Yo entiendo, pero yo no hablo mucho. And tried to combat that by having a translation ready of the scripts, and that didn't really fit in, didn't really work, but people were using Google Translate to listen to and said it was really good, very well received. But I realised that when you're doing in the place theatre, immersive theatre, it's really hard to keep people's attentions. People really wander. And as Leone did in his films, he was really good with working the characters. And one of the main characters, especially of his westerns, was the landscape. You know, those long still shots. And it's really interesting. I think we forget that in theatre, the importance, as an actor particularly, you forget about the fact that, you know, there's other things going on around you, the lighting, the scenery, the sets, the music. We watched The Good, the Bad and the Ugly in a little village called Hortiguela, just outside of Sad Hill. Well, I say probably about 40 kilometres east of Burgos. And it was fantastic being able to be in a Spanish village, listening to it. It was in Spanish, subtitles were in Spanish, but the music just took over and you could really feel and see that film. And just how great of a performance everybody gave, but especially Eli Wallach. That film is all about Tuco and the struggles that he has. And here I am now stood right by that centre circle where Tuco was left. He was left with money, but how's he going to get it out of there? What would you have done in that situation? It's really interesting. But it's been great having the support of Kevin, Robin and Roger and Lucy back at home, allowing me to do this, giving me the confidence to do this. And I really do feel that this is something that can carry on, not necessarily as an immersive piece, but maybe turning it into a festival piece. And I've met some wonderful people here. Isa, who is an artist, an animator, a designer. She's amazing, from Spain. I got to talk and meet with Guillermo, which was wonderful, the director. Then there was Al, she's a French writer who now lives in Valencia. So I've met some really wonderful, interesting people. Very grateful for this experience, for being back. The north of Spain is very special. It's full of tradition, it's full of rituals. It's all about your family, your friends, the food, the drink. Todo tranquilo, as they would say. Everything is good, everything's okay. It's a great way of life. Like this evening is supposed to start at 7 o'clock. And I don't know what time it is now. Let me have a look. It is now... It's 5 to 7, so they've still got 5 minutes, but there's absolutely no way that they're starting at 7 o'clock. The movie that they were showing in Hortiguela was supposed to start at 8 o'clock. It started at 9:30. But you just went, okay, that's fine. That's what it is. It'll be that. And you kind of get used to that because they're used to it. No stress. So this is a brief coming back to somewhere which is quite special to me, and hopefully that conveys to you. Not long after leaving Spain, I returned to work and travelled through several more cities, although travelling somewhere and arriving there are not always the same thing. Then, during a trip to Bengaluru, I had a few hours and I went for a walk. I found myself in the National Military Memorial Park, surrounded by tanks, aircraft, fountains, chipmunks, and people simply passing through their day. I began recording without even thinking about Sad Hill, but listening back, I do hear an echo. Another landscape shaped by conflict and remembrance. Another place that had continued living beyond the story it was created to tell. And once again, I was trying to gather my thoughts while everything around me kept pulling them in another direction. I have found a quieter area of Bengaluru. I'm at the War Memorial Park. There's lots of chipmunks running around, and there are just memorials to all sorts. There's a tank over there, there's a steam engine, there's a helicopter, there's aircraft, there's a little playing space like area. Just wandering around and seeing what I can find. There's a little like fountain. Oh, that's the fountain. There's this water fountains at night, Indira Gandhi fountains. I've seen all that on the map, and this is really lovely. Bit crazy the last few weeks. Just 2 weeks ago I was in Spain with the Sad Hill. This guy is chopping wood. Sad Hill looks like he needs to sharpen his axe. There's a tank here, 8-wheeler tank. That's pretty cool. Yes, in Sad Hill. This is really cool. Sorry, I'm just going to get distracted now because there's all like military stuff, and there's a big sign on the way in: "Do not touch the military vehicles or military equipment." What was I saying? Yeah, I was in Spain and doing the Encore Camino, as Kevin likes to call it, which I do love that. And since then, I've been to Vegas, Dusseldorf, didn't get off the plane in Dusseldorf, Amsterdam, didn't get off the plane in Amsterdam, Newcastle, I got off the plane in Newcastle, Prague, didn't get off the plane in Prague. And here I am now in Bengaluru. That's a really cool photo. I'll come back and take a picture of that. Hang on, I'm going to pause. I'm back. Yeah, I am extremely lucky in what I get to experience and where I get to go in this life. Very, very lucky. And it kind of ties into my recent newsletter in place. What does that mean to us? You don't necessarily have to travel all the way around the world to find a sense of belonging, to find yourself. It really helps me. There's a lovely parakeet just flying through, a green one, so you can see them. I can see a parakeet in London. Not seen any in Brighton, have I? No, I don't think I have. But all these different experiences, like yesterday, got in quite early in the morning, just spent the day wandering around, went out for a bite to eat in the evening. Bengaluru, very different city to any of the Indian cities that I've been to. It's quite modern in a way, and I think that's down to the tech industry. Met a lot of Indians in Chicago that were working in tech, and majority of them were from Bangalore or Hyderabad, and you can really see how having that extra money here has got them onto a certain level. There's a museum down there, a military museum. This is really cool. It's a really interesting place. And then there's a big memorial up here with lots of names on it. I take it they are people who passed away fighting for the freedom of their country, which is really sweet. So there's rockets here now. Yeah, if you come to Bangalore, come for a walk around the War Memorial Gardens. It's really lovely. I don't quite know where I'm going with all of this. I kind of had an idea for season 2 of what that was. Is me talking about me again. Sorry about that. But I think, I really do want to keep this going, but it is a struggle at the moment, just with life, as always, and just making sure things are going right. It will. I don't know what any of that means. I just want to be happy. I just love life so much. It was a massive big model of a frigate here, the D60. That's quite cool. That's definitely not going to fit on your average size pond as a aircraft carrier too. That's what I love just about life. It's just so rich and there's so much, and I overthink things way too much. I really should stop doing that and just go with the flow. But I do, I worry about paying the mortgage. I worry that Lucy is happy, worry that Todd is happy, calm and relaxed, that my mum is okay, that my brother and sisters are happy in their life, and in all of that you kind of sometimes forget about your own self. Not that I do, because I'm doing all my stuff, I'm constantly doing stuff, and it's interesting on trips like this where I kind of have to stop. I'm detached from everything so I have to stay present, and I have to just go, okay, all right, what's this then? What am I doing here now? And just enjoy it. So that's what I need to do more back at home. I need to just enjoy it, and I am. I just always want more, and that's bad, is it? I don't know. Anyway, I have no answers. I just have lots of questions, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I'll just keep firing them out there and boring you with it. And the podcast has been going for over 2 years. It's grown a little bit. I've been doing the newsletter for much longer than that, and that's hardly growing at all, not for want of trying. Put it out there, try and get people to sign up for it. And so at the end of the day, it's just really for me. It's just really for me to have an what am I trying to say? I want to say outage. That's not right. A portal of just feel like I just want to be heard. I just want to be seen. That's kind of what I wrote into the ending of the big 30-minute section that I didn't really do at Sad Hill. Was I just think we all want to be seen in a way, and more particularly in a place that means something to us, because it kind of feels like we've achieved, we've done something. It surprises me. I saw an interview with Jack Black on a walking podcast, believe it or not, and I mean, who would have thought of that? Yeah, you heard it here first. And Jack was sort of saying about being a fans, and he's like, there is a part of me inside, there's a big part of me that wants to be seen, that wants to be recognised, that wants to be the centre of attention. And he says that a lot of celebrities are like that, and it gets, that's just what drives them. And all the other stuff that comes along with it is part of the job. And then there's the planetarium, the Jawaharlal Nehru Planetarium, opposite the National Memorial to the military. Yeah, I would definitely put Bengaluru, because you can get to Kerala from here, and you've got the whole south basically. Put Bengaluru on your list to come and see. It's really nice.
When I began season 2, I thought its shape would come from the people walking beside me, and for most of it so far it has. But these 2 recordings have reminded me that place can also become a companion. Sad Hill had already been a part of the story Pilgrim, but returning there did not mean repeating the same story. I was different, the reason for being there was different, and the place offered something I had not been ready to hear the first time. Then, thousands of miles away in Bengaluru, another place began answering it. Neither recording was planned, as most of them aren't, for this podcast. There was no guest, no arranged route, and no carefully constructed conversation. There was simply whatever happened to cross my path, a landscape built for a film, a park built for remembrance, the machinery of imagined and real conflict, people carrying on with their lives, and me becoming repeatedly distracted by whatever appeared next. Perhaps distant echoes do not repeat a sound exactly. Perhaps they return it altered by the ground it has travelled across. The plan for Season 2 does remain. There are still people that I want to walk with and places I hope that they will take me. But while I am waiting for those walks, I had forgotten that the journey was already continuing. The podcast may have fallen silent for a while, the road did not. Thank you for walking with me once again. Buen Camino, and keep listening.